So what kind of work have you done, career-wise?
Well, after quitting grade 12, and I was bilingual, you see, because my grade 1 at Sacred Heart, it was just English, and my parents wanted me to be fluent in both languages. So they sent me to this convent, which became the Grand Hotel later on. I had all my grade 12 there, bilingual, because they were affiliated to Laval University, that's why it was bilingual. And then, when I was finished there, I was then I went to commercial. I took 1 year of special commercial at the Catholic Commercial School, which was St. Vincent's.
And what does commercial mean?
Well, it was a type, to become a secretary.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Like practical.
Yeah. So there was that. The course was, if you had only grade 10, you had to go 2 years of commercial. But if you had 12, you had 1 year of commercial. So I had my grade 12, so I took that. And when I came out of commercial, there were no jobs. Not even for our parents, that's the beginning of the... So I went to work at the Misericordia Hospital. My parents had a bill there because Mother had been ill. And then from there, my little friends who were still at the convent, I had won a bursary, because the French Association, French Canadian Association, there weren't very many bilingual teachers teaching in the schools, and they wanted some, so they had given, I had won one of those bursaries, and I had said at the time, I'll never go to normal. But my little friends at the convent were always saying, Antoinette, we're going, come on, it doesn't cost much. So I went to normal. But you see, I had had too protected a life, Paula. I was an only child, a lot of attention. I was raised in a convent there where the classes were small, and we had a lot of attention from the teachers and everything. And I had never slept out of the house. And so when I got into the country, my first teaching in Morinville, and I landed in a home where there were bed bugs, and I didn't even have my own room. I had to sleep in the same bed as the daughter, and the bed bugs came for me, because I was new blood. And so I told that to Mother, and on weekends I was so, I missed home so much. She'd have to go to that was a Safeway that was there then, and this gentleman would pick me up. He'd drive out there and take me, and then and on Sunday he would drive me back. And Mother couldn't believe there were bed bugs. So I said, Mama, I'll bring one home. And I did. I had a couple. So anyway, Mother got tired of this thing, So she said, listen, I'm going to bring you to the family doctor, and this can't go on. And family doctors back then knew families very well, from childhood to adulthood. And Dr. Blay said, Antoinette, this is not the work for you. You've got your commercial. Find a job in the commercial. So I did find a job at the university campus at St. Joseph's College. And that was just when the war broke out there. And there were military people in the college, besides very few students. Then the war went so well for the Allies that the brothers said to me, I was secretary to the bursar of the college. He said, Antoinette, I just want to warn you, maybe you should look for it, because we won't need a secretary when it comes back to full students. So I was home, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and then I got a call from the priest at Immaculate Conception, because that was the French church at the time, and that was our parish. So Monsignor Ketchen said, I've just had a call from Dr. So-and-so, and would you be interested? And I said, yeah, sure, I'd like to work. I was trained to work in an office. So I worked 13 years there in the office. And one fine day, one of the girls from the other offices, you see, we were in the Tegler building, and then eventually these 4 doctors who were friends decided to move to Le Marchand. And one of the girls said, Antoinette, Dr. Musso wants to put his eldest daughter in your place. So by then I had my certificate as a medical record librarian. I had gone with the lady at it's a rural place out here. She was working at that hospital, Lamont, and the surgeon I worked for, he used to go on meetings in the States, you see, and he came back one year and he said he wanted me to classify all his operations according to this system, standard nomenclature. So I started to do that, and when I'd have a little bit of problems, I'd phone Jessie Nairn at the University Hospital, and she's the one that told me, she said, you know, the federal government is looking into a new profession. And she said, I know the girl from Lamont is going, and she said, you should go, Antoinette, because you know, there's no future just in a doctor's office. So both Grace and I went to spend a week in Winnipeg when teachers from a hospital in Toronto came and initiated us about this work. And we both asked if we could, you know, we'd like to become registered. So the teachers said, well, you'll have to send your credentials and they will be examined, but you will write exactly the same exam that our students, because that was the only school in all of Canada for medicine. And so Grace got it, and I got it too. But I kept working at Dr. Musso's office, you see. And so that time when that girl came from the next office and told me what was going to go on, wait a minute. No. Before that, one day my physician I was working for was Dr. Musso. He was the head surgeon at the General Hospital. He said to me, you know, in a way he said that I was sort of, you know, if I wasn't going to get married, that, you know, I needed a place where I'd get a pension. So he said, you know, Dr. Easton of the Royal Alec has spoken to me, and he would like to interview you for a position of medical record administrator at the Alec. So I went to the interview, and I knew, Paula, that I didn't have the experience. I didn't have hospital experience, whereas Grace did have experience. You know? So he said to me, well, you think about it, Antoinette, and then you let me know. So I knew it wasn't up, you know, I wasn't up to that level yet. So he hired Grace. So when that girl told me that the doctor, I think it was the girl, really wanted the job, you know, the daughter. And it was a good thing for me, because then I phoned Grace and I said, do you need an assistant? And she says, I sure do, Antoinette. So I went to the Royal Alec, and I was assistant to the director, Grace. Then I heard about an opening at Charles Council, which was federal government. And there was a competition. So I tried that competition, and I won it. So I left, and I spent 21 years at Council and retired in 1979.
And you've been living in this house ever since you came back from Morinville, so you lived with your parents.
Yeah, and my father died in 1950, and then mother died at 101 in 2001.
Oh wow!
And then I stayed alone, and I knew I wouldn't be able to live alone in the house, so I wanted a woman. You know? And this friend of mine said to me, she was a former school teacher who had taught in the rural areas, Antoinette, she says, you need a man, somebody who can clean the snow and look after the grass and everything. And she says, I know somebody. And that's how I got my tenant. I've had him for 22 years.